Mao Zedong, who is also known as Mao Zedong, was born in December 1893 in Hunan Province, China, to a relatively affluent family of peasants. In 1921, he helped to form the Chinese Communist Party and became its chairman in 1935. Mao then went on to become the undisputed leader of the People's Republic of China in 1949 and the most powerful revolutionary leader in Chinese history. He stayed in power until 1976, when he died of natural causes. Mao is widely regarded as the single most influential figure in Chinese politics in the 20th century, but is also seen as one of its worst dictators. He ranks alongside dictators like Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler. Most communists at the time followed the philosophies of Karl Marx, on which the Soviet Union had been formed after World War I. But Mao didn't believe that the answer for China was revolution by industrial workers in urban areas. He believed that the source of the Chinese Revolution would be the peasants who worked the land, because China was largely an agricultural country at the time. This view went against the official Communist Party line, and Mao received a lot of criticism from both the Soviet Union, which controlled Chinese communism, and from the party leaders in China. Despite this criticism, Mao stuck to his beliefs in a rural-based revolution. He also believed in mobile, fast-moving guerrilla warfare, using a highly disciplined and democratic army, and this strategy was the reason for the military victories that he later won. In the 1920s, there were two major political parties in China. One was the ruling Kuomintang Nationalist Party, led by Chiang Kai-shek, and the other was the opposing Chinese Communist Party. These two parties had a fragile alliance throughout the 1920s, and it broke down completely in 1927 when a civil war started. From then until 1949, the two parties and their respective armies were in constant conflict. They began an uneasy truce in 1937 when the Japanese invaded China and they had a common enemy to fight. The truce continued throughout World War II, in which China sided with the United States against Japan. The truce finally broke down in the summer of 1946. The Communist Party had made good use of the previous 9 years. By 1946, it claimed to have a 900,000-strong army, drawn from a huge communist-controlled population. The Communists had equipped themselves with Japanese arms, and they employed a mixture of guerrilla and conventional warfare against Chiang Kai-shek's forces, which numbered about 3 million. The Communists won some major victories over the next 3 years, and in January 1949, Mao and his Red Army entered the Chinese capital of Beijing and overthrew the nationalist government. He then founded the People's Republic of China in October of that year. Mao was ruthless and ambitious, and he turned China into a world military power, making himself the center of a personality cult at the same time. His image was displayed everywhere, and he forced the Chinese people to read his Little Red Book, which was a collection of his political ideas. When other would-be leaders challenged him in the early 60s, Mao unleashed a cultural revolution against his enemies. He did it by stirring up the revolutionary passion of the Chinese students who had been brainwashed into being loyal to him. These students became known as Red Guards, and they carried out Mao's every wish. The result was chaos. Communist leaders at all levels were arrested, and many were executed. Countless others died as Mao became ever more vicious and identified more and more people as class traitors. Parts of the country descended into virtual civil war. Under Mao's dictatorship, the Chinese people endured political terrorism and a series of economic disasters, including one of the worst famines in history that killed 40 million Chinese. Despite these disasters, for more than 25 years, Mao was China to the rest of the world. After his death, the leaders who took over the country steered it away from pure communism, and the cult of Mao slowly disappeared.